Man, say man. This is the Man Show back at it again for more content. So we are continuing on this series, the second part of the series, where I'm going to rank the top 10 players in all defensive positions in football. As you can tell from the thumbnail, I'm going to rank the interior D-line first. So for starters, the D-line list, not gonna lie, is very top heavy, up there with the receivers and corners. There are many players on this list that are interchangeable in terms of where you rank him in the top 10. That being said, let's not make this introduction too long. We finna rank the top 10 defensive linemen in the NFL. But first, make sure y'all subscribe. I post NBA and NFL content. Y'all know what to do. Turn on post notifications so that way y'all don't miss anything new. That out of the way, stay tuned for the rankings. So kicking off with the number 10 spot, I have Vita Vea. It's really tough to pick between him and Christian Wilkins and Fletcher Cox, but I think Vita Vea slightly edges both of them out, and the reason being because Vea is one of the most physically opposing linemen in football, being over 350 pounds and moves like a freight train, and his strength is also something that needs to be mentioned, as you can tell from his bull rushing ability. Vea has been the main focal point of the Bucs D-line, let alone one of the focal points of the stifling defense. Going into his age 28 season, going into his prime, I do see him producing a 10-sack season this upcoming season. At the number 9 spot, I have Javon Hargrave. The high-level D tackle had his best season of his career with the Eagles, the same Eagles team that had the second best defense in the NFL, and the same team that made it to the Super Bowl. The guy signed a 5-year, $84 million deal with the 49ers, and I can tell you he deserves it. The guy was a dominant pass rusher, had a career high in sacks with 11, had a 13.2% pressure rate, which was third among D tackles. But the reason why he is this low on the list is because he was not that great as far as stopping the run, and also his sacks was kind of overinflated due to the amount of elite pass rushers he played alongside, but still that didn't stop him from being in the number 9 spot on my list. Coming in at number 8, I have DeForest Buckner. Buckner over the last 3 seasons has been one of the most consistent D tackles in football, and last year in particular has gone unnoticed. Even though the Colts as a whole has been mediocre, the defense has been above average, borderline top 12 defense in the NFL last year, and Buckner has been one of the leading culprits of that defense. He is still a high-level pass rusher while stepping up at the tackling department, making a career-high 74 tackles. The guy has been an athletic, versatile D tackle who can line up to anywhere in the line and make a large impact. Buckner remains as a franchise defensive player for the Colts, and I can see him continue on putting up Pro Bowl level production for a couple seasons. Coming in at the number 7 spot, I have Hayward. Age is simply a number for this man. The guy is 34 and he is still among one of the best pass rushers in the game. Another guy that is not talked about a whole lot. We talk about the dominance of TJ Watt, but no one wants to mention Hayward, especially his superb 2022 season. Hayward is a guy who can outmuscle while finesse O-linemen consistently. No wonder the guy had over 10 sacks total, and by the way, this is his second year in a row of recording 10 plus sacks. While he declined a bit in the tackling department as well as run defense goes, but he's still a high-level run stopper as well as a borderline elite pass rushing D tackle. I don't see him slowing down anytime soon, and he will continue on being a staple for this Steelers defense. Coming in at the number 6 spot, I have Dexter Lawrence. Lawrence has broken out and became a star D tackle for the New York Giants. This is a guy who is explosive with his size while also really good with his hands, and of course his size being 350 pounds makes him a very hard guy to block. And also he is very proficient at stopping the run. The guy had over 70 pressures, over 577 passing snaps, which is really good. The guy was named second team All-Pro and made his Pro Bowl, all being his first time receiving these honors. You can make the claim that he was the best player on defense and helped the Giants make it to the playoffs. D-Law is only 25, and I can guarantee you that this is not the best you will see from him. In the top 5, at the number 5 spot, I have Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons has been an absolute disruptor for the Titans defense. The guy has been making big time plays, especially when double teamed, and he made it to his second consecutive Pro Bowl and All-Pro team last year. And he is now entering the early years of his prime, and if he is still healthy during the seasons, he does have the potential to be a top 3 player at his position. Simmons is an absolute stud defensively and will continue to do so while in a Titans uniform. Coming in at the number 4 spot, I have Myles Payne. Payne was one of the snubs for the All-Pro team last year, and I think that he should have got it over Dexter Lawrence. Forgot to mention that. And I really believe that. Payne had a borderline elite year with the Commanders. Payne had a career high 11.5 sacks while having 5 pass deflections and 18 tackles for loss. Even though he didn't make an All-Pro team, but at least he got it back, a 4-year, $90 million deal. Payne was truly almost elite at the run with 18 tackles for loss, as well as elite at the pass rusher with 11.5. He was the best player on defense all year last season, and honestly, you can make the claim that he was the best player on the team. Payne is now going into his prime years as a D tackle, and I can see him potentially be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year one day. Maybe not win it, but at least be in the top 5 at his best. Coming in at the number 3 spot, I have Quinnen Williams. Williams has been absolutely dynamic for the Jets D-line. The man has been one of the staples for the top 5 defense in the league last year. Had a career high in 12.5 sacks, along with 12 tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. Williams has really grown as a pass rusher, especially being the 3rd overall pick in the 2019 draft class. And also, he has been very exceptional in stopping the run. The guy has the finesse to literally make offensive linemen look foolish on film, and his production has earned him a first-team All-Pro selection. Going into his prime years, I expect him to grow from that and remain one of the 3 best interior D linemen in football going forward. At the number 2 spot, I have Chris Jones. Jones has been a top 3 pass rusher at his position for the past 4 seasons, and last year he has been absolutely dominant. The man tied his career high in sacks with 15.5 and also tallied 17 tackles for loss. The guy has been the identity for the Chiefs defense, and honestly, when he's on the field, the Chiefs never really had a below average defense when he's on the field. Of course, Jones was first team All-Pro and was 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. If it weren't for Chris Jones, the Chiefs may not have made it to multiple or even won multiple Super Bowls. I would not be mad at you if you put Chris Jones as the number 1 player on the list, but sadly, he's not number 1. Because at the number 1 spot goes to Aaron Donald. Even though he only played 11 games last season, but Donald is still the best player at his position, and when healthy, is arguably the best player in the league. The man's achievements and accolades speak for themselves. He's one of the most decorated defensive linemen, let alone defensive players in NFL history. There hasn't been a D lineman who has been consistently dominant and explosive than Aaron Donald. Every time he's on the field, the Rams have a top 15 to 10 defense in the league, and there's only less than a handful of O-linemen who can contain Donald. Aside from them, Donald toss O-linemen like flies. It is not real clear if he wants to play a full season with the rebuilding Rams. I'm hoping that Donald can request a trade later in the season depending on the type of value that the Rams could get in return. But aside from that, Donald remains at the number 1 spot on my list. And that's the video. Let me know about your thoughts about this list and concerns. Make sure y'all subscribe for more NBA and NFL content. Road to 1,000 subs. I appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And also turn on post notifications. And that is all. Stay litty. This is the A-Man Show. Sign out.